Welcome to This is Kimberly A. Bryant. I'm Kimberly, co-host of the Pop Culture Green Room with my twin sister. But this is my solo space to dive deeper. I'm bringing you lifestyle, pop culture, hot topics, reality TV, and fashion, with a little flavor on the side. From hitting local hotspots to cooking with your favorite celebs, we're keeping it fresh, fun, and always on trend. Let's go. Hey, and what is up, all y'all good people? This is Kimberly A. Bryant with the Pop Culture Green Room. And today I've got with me special guest, Vanderpump Robs. What is going on, Rob?
What is up? I am ready to talk and have some fun. And we're going to, you've caught me at just the right moment. Can we take a moment real quick to manifest something? You taught me about manifesting before we recorded. So
I sure did.
So I'm going to save everyone all the nasty details, but I've taken Vanderpump Robs, my podcast, independent, and in doing so, a glitch happened, and I lost all of my followers, ratings, and reviews on Apple Podcasts, which is huge. That's where the majority of my listenership came from. So we got to manifest. We got to put it out there. Bigger and better. People are going to make 5-star positive reviews. They're going to follow. And then in doing so, it's going to make Pop Culture Green Room even bigger. This is what we got to do, right?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. This is what we're here for. This is what we're going to do. So I am going to go, of course, into this description. When this is all uploaded, I'm going to plaster his username, user handles. Sorry, y'all. Everything looks different because I ran into some technical issues before this. Rob's aware. This is also supposed to be recorded under the Pop Culture Green Room settings. I can't even talk right. And then I ended up realizing that we were recording about almost 20 minutes in, and I forgot to hit the record button. Well, and then I couldn't get back into the right
See, this is something's going on. Technically, the moon is in Gatorade or something, and we're both having tech issues. But guess what? The episode is here now. We see the little red button is blinking. We're recording, and it's going to be a great episode.
Yep. Oh, yes. So we are here for it. And y'all, we're going to talk about The Valley in season 2 of The Valley, how it is wrapping up. We're going to give our predictions, what we think is going to happen, and what we think season 3 is going to look like. And not only that, but we also have, of course, in the Bravoverse, there's always a scandal going on. Something's always going on. And this is something that I didn't see coming. Did you see this coming?
Is it the Scheana stuff? Because no.
Well, yes.
No, but I'm not surprised. Let's put it that way.
There we go. We're going to get into the Scheana and a Brock of it all with the whole affair coming out with the excerpt of the book to wrap up this episode. So here we go. All right. So we've got the second to last episode that we just wrapped of The Valley. And so it, like you said, it wasn't really that eventful. It was pretty uneventful. I was expecting something big to happen, something very climactic to like really draw you into like, be like, you cannot miss this finale. Like you're going to be here. And there was none of that.
It's unfortunate because the argument with Jax and Brittany at the end, we could talk for days about their codependent relationship, but at the end of the day, that is 5 minutes of a much longer episode that didn't have a whole lot. We had, I mean, when Danny and Nia are shown a house that we already know from season 1 that they don't want to buy, like that's not like, why is that in the second last episode? You know?
No,
I agree. About this fight between Jax and Brittany, though.
Okay, so the fight between Jax and Brittany. So in my personal opinion, and this is just me, like as a viewer, and looking at and not like picking sides, I felt like Jax went there with a plan, with his agenda, and that was to go there cool, calm, and collected, and to do everything he can. That I felt like he knew that would hit a nerve with Brittany, because I felt like he knew that she would probably expect him to like be yelling and screaming and start some kind of fight. and he didn't do any of that. And I felt like that she was, and I also felt like she was irritated because of the fact that she didn't get any of that from him. And it
Yeah.
was almost like, it was like, look at him, look at him, watch, look at what he's doing. Yeah.
I think that there's this like weird thing with Jax where he's dug his own grave, right? He's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like, he doesn't really need much sympathy at this point, but he is also damned if he does and damned if he doesn't, right? He
Correct.
can't win, and he's done that to himself. So if we want to look that he's gone to this, rehabilitation center and he's taken anything away, it's that like he's not gonna get anywhere by like shouting in this meeting with Brittany, because I do believe he really wants to like be able to spend time with his son. I think he also wants to spend time with his boys and party and all that too.
Right.
But he knows that if he goes in there demanding things and screaming, like he at least has learned that. He at least learns that he's not getting anything there. And like you said, Brittany wants to look better and be able to point and say, see what I have to deal with Jax. But Jax is already, we've already seen that. We know what you have to deal with Jax.
Exactly.
So what I was talking about with my co-host Kate on Vanderpump Robs is how frustrating it is when you watch these things and you just want to go, Brittany, you have to take the higher road. You can't say you don't want Cruz to come over there because of nasty women, because that's not Jax. You are now blaming someone other than Jax at this point. And that's not a good look in any way.
No.
So it's difficult, and I feel bad for them. And then additionally, Jax can be terrible, but we do watch these shows for the like weird, crazy stuff. And this season, we didn't get any Jax for the most part. He went to the facility, so he was out for, 90% of the season. And last season, the first season, Kristen was ostracized from the group, from Janet. So we didn't
she
get
was.
much of her either. So the excitement of watching this show because Jax and Kristen are back on our TVs, well, we really didn't get the end of that bargain because both the seasons were gone.
And it's funny that you say that because it really didn't even click to me until you just brought that up. And now, and now that you say that, you're right. Everybody wanted those two back on our televisions, and those are the ones that we have seen the least.
So
from
if this
the
were
OG
to
Vanderpump
have
Rules.
been a thing, right? If this were to have been a thing, we don't get much Kristen first season. We don't get much Jax second season. Third season, the Jax and Kristen team up. But we're not even going to get that now because Jax has, quote, decided that he's going to take a season off. Strictly speaking, the article about this is that Jax is taking one season off. And I think the storyline is then to come back for a fourth season. I'm
thinking that's what.
Yeah, I think this show has kind of lost the thread. I also have a theory that their showrunner got fired, but I can't substantiate that in any way.
Oh, you know what? Maybe so. That's
because they haven't handled either of these seasons, I think, in any sort of appropriate way. I mean, this is
not
the same
at all
person who did season 11 of Vanderpump Rules, which was a total letdown. So
that was that was pretty bad, and it's just it was.
I think they got a golden ticket after Scandival because they had worked on like a few seasons left, came back for season 10, Scandival happened, and then they're like, okay, we have to keep you on for season 11, and then we'll give you the Valley, and like they've all just been kind of, I mean, they are not season 6 Vanderpump Rules, I'll tell you that.
No, not at all, not by any means. And it's like I feel like a lot of them feel like they may have just like outgrown it, and they just feel like they should just be at a like higher paying jobs and just doing a lot more. Which I mean, I get it,
Sure, but they're also stuck in self-production mode, right? Like
and that's the problem.
That's so bad,
And it is, and it's like, who wants to watch it? Because I'm over it, and that's why so many people were gravitating towards the Valley, because these were new faces and people who weren't in reality TV and weren't self-producing, and
Yeah.
it was more enjoyable. But now it's like, to me, it's just the storylines here is just, it's just so dark with with everything
Oh,
going on with Jax. It's like, it's just to the point where it's not even entertaining. And then I never thought that I would see, because we see how steps in, because the way the media and everything has changed and the way information gets strewn about back and forth. But it's like the way that it's like the public basically had to step foot and be like, hey, Bravo, do something about Jax because we're tired of it.
well, and the hard part here for me is like after Scandival and all that, so many people were like, we just want a show of Katie and Ariana living their best lives at the sandwich shop. And it's
Mhm.
like, that sounds like the most boring television
Boring
show
show.
I've ever
Yeah,
heard. So
I
there is
agree. Yeah.
that line to dance, between
Mhm.
uh very serious situations of abuse and neglect and all of that, and substance abuse, and
Right.
making a show that we are entertained by when fighting happens. I think the big thing is a lot of fandom will like be pearl clutchy and be like, this is, you can never talk
Mhm.
to someone like this, or you could do this. It's like, well, we lived through multiple seasons of Vanderpump Rules, but we were just in a different culture climate at the time. And I think
Right.
that they're right. I think that Jax is a total, like, I have friends who are like, I can't watch this season because Jax is like triggering me in a way I didn't ever expect on television.
Mhm.
And that's a very real thing.
It
And
really is.
you can still tell those storylines and be ethical about it. And I don't think anyone's
Mhm.
been ethical here. We
Right.
at no point got a warning before an episode that says, if you're in a situation dealing with, verbal or financial abuse, please call this number or something, right? We got
Mhm.
an epilepsy warning before an episode that had bright flashing
Yeah.
colors.
Yeah,
And
we
we
do.
got a
Mhm.
substance abuse warning at the
Uh-huh.
end of another episode. But it is like Jax can go screaming at Brittany and uh, in an irate like
Right.
fashion, and we don't want to warn people about that. Like, I don't understand, and
See,
I'm not
that's
even
where
like a person that's like that thinks that we need trigger warnings on everything. I mean, but I think they are like legitimate. Remember when TV
right.
always had like TVMA, and it'd be like it's
Mhm.
TVMA because there's partial
Exactly. They
nudity.
always gave you the list of
There's
warnings as to why.
something, right?
Mhm.
And I think that is good for the audience. But if they're not even doing that, how could we ever expect them to tell the story in a way that makes sense? Why is, like, I know a lot of people don't like Lala. I'm not a huge Lala fan, but Lala went through a separation with Randall, and they had like
Right.
a mediator and an app they used to talk about Ocean. Why is
Mhm.
Lala, instead of like being the person that comes in for an episode and yells at Jesse Lawley, why is she not the person that steps in to talk to Brittany and be like, here's how you deal with this when you
You know
don't
what?
want to talk to
Yeah.
that person, you know?
It's actually that, you know what, that's very insightful. And why didn't she do that? Like, why didn't they do that? I guess they all wanted to try and pick their own storyline. Like,
Well, I
again,
think
like
Brittany
that
wants
goes
to
back
be
to
able to talk to
production.
Jax. I think Brittany wants to talk to Jax. Like how she,
Oh, okay, that makes
I
sense.
think that I think there's some codependency there. I mean, she drunk dialed Jax when she felt bad that she was left out of the Kristen engagement planning, right? Like there's
Oh, that's right.
something
Yeah, she
there.
did do that. Yeah.
So
There's
it's
that. See, and
unfortunate.
you said it. That's the codependency.
Yeah, yeah. And it's sad
Mm,
because they're not going to be able to move on until they're ready to move on. Like even Jax
yeah.
in this latest episode was like, what if we just put a pin in it or something? Or like, did
Yeah.
she really want a
Yeah.
divorce? We really wanted this? And I guess it
Uh-huh.
was 2 episodes when Shorts is like, no, you need to get a divorce or you'll end up in jail.
Yeah, it was about 2 episodes. Yeah, and
Yeah,
and Schwartz is like, "No, no, like,"
get
he's
out
like,
of
"No,
there.
this is real."
And like Brittany and Jax, when they argue in this episode, this recent one, he's like, so you really want to jump to divorce? And she's like, you haven't done anything you said you do. Of course I do. But also, Jax doesn't want to be married. He's done
He
with this.
doesn't.
He just has an ego at this point, and he's trying to make a show. And I am a little conflicted because I am not a Jax fan. I'm not really a Brittany fan either, but I am more on the side of Brittany that she's had to deal with Jax for all these years. Whether or not, I'm not going to blame her because love is a crazy thing. But there is a situation where at the end of the episode with their argument, where Jax is like, I came over here to talk about co-parenting and it's blown up into something bigger. And she's like, yeah, you're not going to see Jax because of all these nasty, or you're not going to see Cruz because of all these nasty women. And you're still going to pay half of all the bills. And he's like, well, if I'm not going to see Cruz and I'm paying all the bills, he doesn't dispute. He doesn't say he's not going to pay anything, right?
Right.
He's like, but if you want me to pay all the half the bills and you're not going to allow me to see Cruz, I'm not going to also sign divorce papers that say you get full custody, right? Like, he was ready to sign divorce papers that say that Brittany gets full custody if she worked with him on some sort of like co-parenting situation. And because that argument just went so off the rails, like that's the only thing we're getting any sort of cliffhanger of for next episode.
Right. Yeah, I know. And it's like, it's sad. I feel for Cruz, you know, I feel like most people do the most. And it's like, and then on top of it, it's just, he does like other children because of his diagnosis. So it's just, it's, like, I can only imagine what he's got to go through. And that's when, like, I just really, and for me, I don't even have kids of my own. I've got a niece and, well, I've got nieces and a nephew, but I mean, just to put myself in that child's shoes and to deal with it. And that's a volatile situation in a household. And it's kind of like, why not just try to keep the peace and do something? So, but now that you say all that, it does make me think. It feels like, in a way, I feel like she kind of likes it. But there are people who like that, who get off on that.
Well, and it's subconscious, right? Like, I don't think she's like actively out here. But yeah, I'm right there with you. And unfortunately, Brittany's never had a storyline all her own without Jax. And like, I even heard a rumor that Brittany's next to be either quitting or fired from the Valley, because as we've talked about before, you know, if you're a friend to everyone, you're a friend to no one on a show like this. And Brittany will not, she doesn't, it's not that Brittany won't choose a side. It's that Brittany won't even like engage in a conversation that might lean towards her like talking shit, quote, on Janet, right? And Janet's been
exactly. I was about to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts on the whole Janet situation?
So this is my honest opinion on Janet. Janet is, I would never want to be friends with Janet because she's just one of those people. Like, I mean, oh my goodness. The things that come out of her mouth, the words that come out of her mouth, it makes me, and I'm not a person who chooses violence, nor do I choose to throw hands. However, she grinds my gears. She doesn't do what Candace Basket does to me. However, she's close. But Janet is aware of her. She is aware of how she is, especially whenever she said, well, I can be a Karen at times. So she doesn't have
what it means, but yes, I can do that.
It's like she has self-awareness there, but she is keeper on the Valley. She's great TV. What can I say? Like, I
what I was
want to
thinking.
watch her.
Like, I put up something on TikTok about how I had heard the rumors that Brittany might not be on season 3 as well, and people were like, "Why Brittany? I wish it was Janet going." And I was like, "Look, I understand that no one really likes Janet, but if I put on my executive producer cap for a moment, people have talked about Janet potentially more than they've talked about Jax." And that is someone
Exactly.
you keep on the show. I don't
Right. I
appreciate a
agree.
lot of the things Janet has done, but
Mhm.
she is stirring the pot in a way that we want on
Exactly.
these shows.
Exactly. That's my thing. It's like, 'cause trust me, I wish Kristen would have pushed her off that boat. I really wish she would have.
Well, the
What?
thing that really enlightened it to me is, I can have all my thoughts about Janet and what I think is going on,
Mhm.
but that day when everyone goes to the beach and Jasmine like gets in Janet and Jason's face and their argument, like that goes to show you how Janet makes people feel. Like
Right,
Jasmine
exactly.
is just so fed up with all of the weird back talk and drama and snake in the grass stuff that Janet's
Mhm.
been doing. And we haven't even brought up the Danny situation that like
No, we
Jasmine is
haven't.
like, you haven't even done anything directly to me, but I'm so sick of you like meddling in all this stuff in a way that like kind of makes good TV, but also
Mhm.
you can just tell outside of it that that none of these people really like Janet, and that's interesting to me the
Right.
way Jasmine was acting.
Yeah, it's just but yeah, and Janet, she's definitely she's something else. But I mean, she's good at what she does. Look at how the way she
Yeah,
wormed her way into becoming friends with Scheana.
yeah,
It's but then I was like, but it makes sense. I was listening to She Speaks with Emily Hanks the other day, and she did say something. She said she's like, well, that does make sense for Sheena to become friends with a fan. So it
yeah,
didn't really
yeah,
surprise her, but I mean, she made her way onto reality TV, and she knows how to do things and everything. But I feel like she just takes things and what's a good way I look at her, like what she likes to do is a say for instance there's like like a I'm gonna say like a fire pit with like see some like coals or whatever. They're just kind of like starting to like
hmm,
ash to dwindle. And Janet to me is that person that's gonna walk by and say, like, "Oh look, there's ash there sitting there. A fire can start if they spread. Let me
yep,
just come here and just start spreading it." And that's what she just reminds me of.
yep. I totally. She fans that fire too, right?
Hmm.
She brings it. So let me ask you this though: what do you think is going to happen on the finale?
You know what? My guess is as good as yours. Well, actually, I don't know what your guess is. So I don't know. I really don't think a whole lot's going to happen. I think she and Kristen just aren't still going to be friends, and I think that things might just escalate even more. I believe that well, I think maybe for the finale, I could see maybe she and Jason being alienated from the rest of the group, and
Yeah.
then um and then Jack's pretty much like kind of going like his separate way to like work on himself. And I think Nia's going to end up being pregnant, and I think um and then that's what I think.
Yeah. Um, I think that I'm trying to think because I don't know if Nia is necessarily gonna like. I don't think the pregnancy is gonna get announced next episode based on what we've seen here. But I think
Oh,
they might
got it.
make their decision. That they're gonna have
Mhm.
4 under 4 instead of 3 under 3.
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I, but I do think that divorce papers will get signed from Brittany and
Mhm.
Jax, and it'll be like we are separated, we are done. We're going to get some sort of like, as silly as this sounds, open ended closure on that moment. I think
Yeah.
we're going to see Kristen and Luke like find some peace and potentially Jesse and Michelle as well. But I do think that Jesse, Aaron, Michelle, truth about when Michelle and Aaron, because that's only been their story, like when they started hooking up,
Mhm.
is going to come out. And we're going to be,
Yeah. Oh, I
I
think
don't
so.
know if we're going to
That's
be,
true.
I don't know if we're going to be left on much of a cliffhanger, though. I think they're going to try and say, like, we were friends, but now I don't know what's going on. And stay tuned next season because we don't know what's gonna happen. My hope, which I don't think will happen, is that Sandoval enters the picture and we get that bridge into he might be coming back for season 3 to replace Jax, essentially. Like I want this to be some truly Melrose Place shenanigans
That
happening
would
in
be
this
sweet.
finale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
That would be
I guess we'll just
cool.
have to tune in and find out.
I know. And we're just a few days away. So, and are you looking forward to the reunion?
Yeah, but reunions always let me down. I've never walked away from a Bravo reunion where I was like, wow, that really answered all of my questions. I'm like, why did I waste my time? Yeah. Wow, one whole episode where they eat lunch. That's great. It's just the reunions always have like juicy moments that are shoved into like 50 minutes of episode.
See, and which is true, which I find to be very true. But I think that to me, I think the last best reunion I've seen was probably I would say Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. With whenever Monica
that was a good one, but that was an entirely like insane storyline to begin with.
Very true. That was very true. That was so true. So as far as Jax goes, because I know I hate to keep talking about him and bring him up again. So do you think he's going to stay off for one season
and then come back for 4? I think he's coming back in 4. For sure.
See, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, he's an executive producer, right? Or he's a producer. I don't think he's.
I believe so. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So
he's still getting paid for the show, regardless of if he's on it. So I definitely think that they have asked him to step down because of his erratic behavior as a like PR move, and with the promise that like you'll come back for season 4. I mean, it's his show, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's my show.
Yeah, definitely so. Oh my goodness. And then I have to bring this up. I know this is a few episodes back, but it was so weird because yesterday it just popped up in my head when I was watching The Valley, just kind of rewatching the latest episode. But it's like I still cannot get the episode of Jesse and them draws. Yeah.
Too much. He is too much.
What happened? It was disturbing because it was like the color and then it was like and it looked like there was just back everything about
it was like sometimes like I don't know about you, but like sometimes you'll look at like, oh, I can buy expensive underwear, and then you're like, it's actually like, I'm not sure if this even looks like underwear anymore. Like this is, and then to see that on camera for people who just like shop for their undies at like Target, like
right,
like, this looks weird, and it looks weirder on you, brother. Like we can't be doing this.
It was. It gave me that like old man in a nursing home like vibes that like broke out of his room to go running down the hallway after
his
a nurse.
Fancy underwear is so fancy it looks like it's 50 years old. You know?
Yeah. I know. And I was shook. I was just shook for that moment. It's ever since then. Now it's like I struggle. It's like a struggle for me to watch. Oh my goodness, I have to move on from that. But speaking of Jesse, though, and now I'm curious though with that. Okay, so with the Aaron and Michelle timeline, what is your opinion on that timeline?
I think that Michelle was done with the relationship not way before, but plenty of times before she actually initiated a divorce. I think I remember saying last season that I had my like conspiracy theory is they had decided to get divorced before filming of season 1 started, and then they got the green light that they'd be on this show, and so they like had a pact that, look, we won't actually go through with a divorce or anything until we're done filming season 1, because potentially this could be better news for us to put out after we've been on TV to like guarantee some more money for ourselves. Like, and that's kind of where I think that like they were ready before season 1. We know this, but like the Aaron stuff I think was happening probably around the time season 1 began filming.
See, that was my speculation. I felt like she was just really trapped in a situation that she didn't really want to be in, and she was in that marriage for Isabella. But like you said, but the more that I thought about it, I just kind of felt like it's, and then just even watching the way it all plays out on camera, to me, it does seem like some of it seems like there are a little bit of added dramatics to it. But maybe I'm wrong, but I also feel like the marriage had been over for a while, for a long time. But and it was just, I'm actually glad that it's done, because just watching them fight was kind of getting nauseating. But not, I would say not as much as the underwear thing, but I'm curious to see how that goes. But it seems like he's wanting to marry her. But I mean, like I'm saying, they're moving pretty quickly for saying that their relationship's so new. That's how I was kind of wondering. I'm like, but
yeah,
I mean,
this was all camera stuff. I don't know. I that's why I think we're gonna get some sort of resolution to that in the finale. Yeah,
definitely.
Should we talk some Scheana Brock drama?
Yes, that's actually what I was about to get into, because that I did not have that on our bingo card to talk about whenever we planned this. And so, okay, Scheana and Brock. Okay, so what is going on here? Because we know that Scheana had the book, that she's got the book written out that's supposed to be coming out called My Good Side, and apparently a bad side of Brock came out.
Yeah,
let's get into that.
So Sheena's on her book tour. I'm gonna double check when her book comes out, and it looks like it's. Do we have a date? I can still pre-order it.
Okay, so this for pre-order.
So it comes out in like 5 days. And
a
few
days.
This recording. And I think that pre-sale was potentially not as high. Like, look, you're always going to release a sample in some way, shape, or form. But
right,
I think
for sure.
that releasing a sample a week before it goes out to Glamour magazine about your husband cheating on you during COVID is wild, right? Like, I would think
absolutely
release something that's maybe a little tea heading up, but who knows? I haven't read the book, so maybe it's got even more stuff in it. But this feels like a huge one, and what it's like telling me is like maybe the book wasn't selling too well. But the argument there is then,
what I'm thinking.
If you're giving away one of the juiciest stories, why would anyone buy the book? But I don't think I'm your average consumer of Scheana's book. I think this actually does move the needle for a lot of other people who were on the fence about buying Scheana's book.
Right.
But Brock, what is the basic points? During COVID lockdown, he was going to work at a gym, which feels insane.
Right. Definitely.
And then hooking up with one of his gym partners, and we're so riddled with guilt after the Sandoval stuff breaks during season 10 that he gets drunk and writes her like a poorly spelled letter explaining that it was a completely physical relationship and he still loves her like 2 years later. And
right.
Scheana throws a Rubik's Cube at his head. I think that Sheena's catching a lot of shit for this
Mm-hmm.
in a way that they would never throw at Ariana. And I think it's
Uh-huh.
based on people's actual like hatred for Scheana for whatever reason.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they knew a Scheana in high school, and that's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem I see is like I just wish Scheana would have left his ass. You know, he obviously has a problem
Right.
with his former partner, the domestic abuse thing. He can't see his
Exactly.
kids.
Yeah.
He can't see his previous kids. That is a problem. And now he's shown himself to have been not loyal
Mm-hmm.
while Sheena's pregnant.
Exactly.
And
During
she's,
COVID,
yeah, we're gonna work it out. What? Why?
it's so wild to me. And so part of me is like, actually I meant to bring up this picture here. But yeah, like part of me, it's like I feel like she's probably afraid of another public failed marriage. And
Yes.
the fact that there's a child involved, it's like that's the only thing I could really think of.
And this is the problem with self production, right? Like she's trying to
Mm-hmm.
hide this from cameras during season 11 while actively trying to get her and Lala are pushing this like filming with Sandoval storyline. Like season 11 was so boring. So
Mm-hmm.
boring because they tried to push all of that stuff. If I would have
Right.
known about this in season 11,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, we would have gotten 5 more seasons of Vanderpump Rules with this
I
cast.
think so. I really think so. Because oh my gosh,
Because this would
that
have
would have
spilt
been.
over into
Mm-hmm.
other drama, right? This would have had
Oh, it definitely
Lala
would
not
have.
focused on Ariana as much. Brock would
Mm-hmm.
have had to deal with the wrath of the ladies and the guys in a different way. New friendships would form, new
Right.
like animosities would start.
Exactly.
Yeah, it
And
would
not
have.
to mention, Rob, not to mention, do you remember the rumors that circulated that he and Raquel supposedly like had a
Yes,
thing, which of
yes.
course was, but that probably could have surfaced and been like another episode or two,
Yep.
like even
Oh
though
yeah.
it wasn't true, but
And I like Sheena a lot. I think that Sheena is
me
such a
too.
fun cast member, and she's not without her problems. But who isn't on these shows, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think she's great
Sh-
for TV. I like her on
yeah,
TV.
like Sheena can cause the same amount of drama as Janet, except Sheena
Oh yeah.
has a way more of the ability to be likable if you like
Mm-hmm.
take a step back from just like absolutely hating people on these shows, right?
Definitely.
Sheena means well where Janet does
Mhm.
not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, this is something I do wanna ask you. So, what are your thoughts about Lala's statement regarding this, affair that, Brock had, given that she was so vocal and opinionated about, Scandal?
Well, I don't
And
think I
it seems like
saw
here she's saying
Lala's
that this is
statement.
not her marriage, not her business.
Oh, is that what she said?
Mhm. That's pretty much what she's saying. It's like, because she's not in their marriage. It's like it's not her. She's not in it. So if you notice, she hasn't said a whole lot, and that's what the people are kind of like. Wait, she had a whole lot to say about
Yeah,
Tom
I
Sandoval
think
and that whole situation, and couldn't stop. But then now that there's no cameras there and that's all what's going on, it's like now it's like you've got really your and then you she said so many great things about Brock and stepping in, which I mean, I'm not going to say that he didn't because it looked like he did. He stepped in to help out her out with Summer Moon, but it's like all these things. And then now it's kind of like, mm, I
Lala
was
is
wondering
such
what
a
you were thinking of that.
dumbass. And it's only because like if you go back and read Lala's book, Give Them
Mm-hmm.
Lala, it's complete fan fiction of how she wants to present herself. And that's who
Oh,
Lala is. When we talk about self production, like every one of these people are guilty of it, even the people we like. But Lala is
uh-huh.
egregious in wanting to come off how she feels like she needs to come off in that moment and will not acknowledge anything else that she's ever done. And that's the problem.
Right.
Maybe Lala has learned
Mm-hmm.
here, and that's why she's like, not my business to talk about. But
Mm-hmm.
in that same statement, she should be like, and I learned that because I was getting all over everyone's business when it was Ariana and Tom, and I looked like a freaking idiot. Like, and I don't want to do that. I want to learn and grow. But she doesn't do that. She says the first half of, oh, not my business. Yeah, it's not your business because
Right. Yeah,
you
that's
got called out, and you want to now look like the person who doesn't get called out. But
right. And
it works so
yeah,
much
that's the
better
point. Yeah.
when you can own it. You know what I mean? Own up to what you did.
Mhm. Exactly. And that's where it's kind of like it's that accountability factor. And then when you talk about the production part, that made me also go back to what was it? Was it episode 1 of season 11 where they went and had dinner and she tried to call Raquel and get her on the phone? It was a
Yep.
whole like
Yep.
self-produced and like
Raquel left
Raquel,
her ass
aka
on
whatever she goes by
red.
now, like she knew. Like that's why
Yeah.
she didn't answer her phone. Like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's good stuff. But I mean, I'll read Scheana's book. I'll take it with a grain of salt, but I'll read it.
I know. Now I'm curious to know. It's like so we see that nothing that they're working on their marriage. That they go to counseling. They've been doing like all these things. So now I'm curious as to season 3. So it's rumored that they are going to be on the Valley. What do you think about that? So do you think this is also obviously probably going to be a storyline? But now it looks like it's probably going to be a storyline that the Valley is going to need.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if Scheana and Brock are on the Valley. I don't need Lala on the Valley.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because your cadence, the way you said it. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't mind.
I mean, I don't mind as much as other people seem to mind, but I don't
Right.
need to. I just hope they really bring it. I don't want to see like Scheana hanging out with Janet and Michelle on a couch. You know, I want
No,
I
for
want it to be
sure.
real deal.
Mhm.
And I don't think the Valley will survive if it's just Scheana and Brock.
No,
They
I
need to
agree.
bring Sandoval on.
Yeah, they do. They need that little sprinkle of chaos in there. And who
Yeah.
else? Because he's something. He's like you said, he's entertaining.
Yep.
It is what it is. And speaking of which, have you seen him on America's Got Talent? Has it come out yet? I don't watch the
I don't
show,
know. I
but
saw the
I heard
clip
about
of
it.
them performing "Take on Me," and it was fine. It was fine.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they have fun. Sandoval was good on the Traders. The
Yeah.
difference is that like Jax will do these things when he's got a bad
Mhm.
publicity, and he'll like try and double down on I'm a good father, and
Uh-huh.
Sandoval will lean into I am a big dumb idiot, and that's what makes people forgive
Right.
you. You know?
Yeah. And see, exactly. And for me, and to me, it's like, you know what? He made it. He made it. I mean, he made what? He committed a sin. He cheated on his girlfriend. You know,
Sure.
he's not the best guy, but he didn't like physically abuse or kill someone. You know, it's like or
Yeah.
it's like it's just there's things that it's people act like he should have been locked up in prison and you know what they need to kind of
Yeah.
move on. And on the other hand, it's like they need to be aware of and look at red flags like Jax. Like that is someone that you look at and you're like, okay, that's a huge problem on my television.
Totally.
So, oh yeah,
Totally.
definitely so. Well, with that there, and given the fact that we kind of messed up, well, I messed up and forgot to record what was going on, we're going to go ahead and get this wrapped up here just about at the 45-minute mark. And let's go ahead and get you to drop your handles because I'm going to make sure that everybody follows you because of the whole debacle that happened. Because we're going to get you to get your followers and
Yeah.
your subscribers and everything back for Apple and even more. Because, like you said, we're manifesting greatness because
Yes.
this is going to go even better than what it was before.
Yep.
Us, you and me both. What?
Well, here's the thing.
Yep.
On social media, you can find me at VanderpumpRobs. That's ROBS anywhere. I also have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/VanderpumpRobs. And if you spend $5, you get all of my episodes, including the stuff that's not available to the public, all ad free. So you have like 500 episodes to go back and listen to. And if you are not ready to commit $5, Vanderpump Robs and all the public podcasts like Apple Podcasts, where I hope, even if you do listen to me on Spotify or a patron, you go to Apple Podcasts and you drop 5 stars and a little written review that says, I love this show. And here's the thing. If you don't love my show, don't leave me a bad review. Go to a show you do like and leave them a good review. That's I think the goal, to eliminate the bad reviews. So 5 stars, please, on Apple, and drop me a follow, slide in the DMs, tell me what you think. I'm excited to have done this episode with you, Kimberly. Thank you.
Sweet. Awesome. Same here, Rob. Thank you so much again for coming. We're so sorry that Blair didn't get to make it, but I'm sure we'll get together on another collab at some point soon, because I mean, we've got a whole world of like Bravo stuff. Like, I mean, it's getting good. And then I've got a fun project I'm working with. I've got some friends of mine from college. They're gonna hop on too with me with some they're actually fraternity brothers. They're gonna hop on with me soon to cover some Real Housewives of Miami. So I think that's going to be really fun.
Oh, sounds awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, everybody, y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy. Actually, by the time this drops, it'll be next Tuesday. So
have a great next weekend.
Yeah, have a great next weekend, and see y'all. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and take it easy. Bye bye.